We'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners on the land on which this project is created, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We'd also like to pay respects to their elders past, present, and emerging.
Settle down and gather round for another tale. In the world of Nua, where time has carved and cultivated a magical utopia of wonder, a small group of adventurers unlock the deep mysteries of the land, its people, and themselves. Welcome to the Down Under Dungeon podcast.
Notes for... I don't even know what day it is. We continue our expedition. Holly's being weird, but what's new? Note, interesting calendar found. 9-month cycle. Date turning into a palm tree. Professor is agitated. Don't know what to do about that though. Holly being more weird. Professor being more weird. Ration quantity less than ideal. God, so now Louie's being weird. Everyone's being so weird. Hearing voices, going rabid over ancient civilizations, silvered weapons, properties, relevance, dumb, stupid, well found. No one agreed that we should take the money out to investigate, even though we can't seem to keep our hands, noses, and tongues off of every other artifact we find. As the coins are also artifacts, but oh no, can't take the coins out of the well, even though we've put our hands, noses, and tongues on everything else we've found in here.
That's my next shout out, is the Labyrinth movie.
We're gonna roll. We can't just shout out movies that are A, have been out for 30 years, or B, are funded by multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. They don't need our support.
I know.
Okay, so you survived your first couple of days navigating the undercroft of this abandoned ancient empire.
Barely.
On the morning of the 5th day, you were actually harried in trying to navigate your way through these seemingly identical and yet completely different substructures. On this day, the Professor Caressa is satisfied that this complex contains enough evidence to support the creation of an archaeological site. She's convinced that while she cannot rule out that this is an ancient wood elven city, the possibility that it is something else is sending the Professor into a state of professional giddiness. She turns to you on this day, and as you can see, as you move out from the well and into this hallway, it does almost seem like the architecture changes again to something a little bit more homely and welcoming. And she says, okay, look, I ask that you not take anything from the tombs, lest they contaminate the findings of the Institute. You feel free to point anything out you think might be of interest for documentation, but we cannot sully this place with our untrained hands, at least before the archaeology department adequately combs through this place. And she kind of gives you all like a withering look, meaning that if you would like to interact with things now, you will have to roll sleight of hand checks against her passive perception. Because she is convinced that this is a place that is worthy of academic study.
Yeah, of course, Professor. I've been suggesting that for the last few days.
Have you? I haven't heard that.
Yep. That's fair enough.
Holly looks at you and goes, quick, why are you being weird?
Anyway, would you look at that? Is that another hieroglyph over there? I just walk away.
Hey, quick, come look at this.
Thanks, Feng. I will.
As Quig walks away and the rest of you follow, you just hear the Professor mumble something to Holly about how much she holds the archaeology department in such regard, considering they learnt most of their trade in preserving artifacts from the prospecting company. After a while, as the tunnels begin to become more and more frequent, bisecting, intersecting, and branching out into what appears to be an impossible warren, the kitsune's nose begins to twitch. Does the air smell more fresh to you? And indeed, the subterranean structure had begun to turn from more of a maze of vaulted passageways into one of several carved complexes, becoming larger and more intricate the further in you navigate. These interconnected clusters soon became more reminiscent of small, cozy townships. Of course, still abandoned and embraced in an eerie silence and perpetual gloom. The professor cautions you again, but the intrigue of this place is becoming unbearable. I'd like everyone to roll their first survival check.
Alright, let's hope it's better than last week, because that was abysmal.
Yes, it'll take you 5 days, roughly, to get through this warren.
Jesus.
Oh.
And this is Feng and Lysandra's first day without food?
Correct.
Okay,
Oh my goodness.
let's go.
So tomorrow the count will start, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use a luck point.
Okay?
Can I have one?
Yeah.
I tried!
Please be better. That's slightly better. Not much better.
Louis.
Louis got an 9.
Quick.
An 8.
Sandra.
21.
It's a crit. Okay.
No, it's not a crit. It is a 19 on the
Okay.
dice.
And Feng.
16.
Nice. That is a pass for day 1.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll still need an encounter as you move through this first township.
I think you're up.
Jeremy, you
roll?
go.
Okay.
D4, please.
Yep. 3.
Ooh. I'm going to need the party to make a perception check. Don't need to tell me what you get.
Okay.
Just tell me if you beat a 15 or if you beat a 25.
Oh.
Okay.
Louis, you have advantage on these.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay.
Alright, Feng, what do we get?
21, so I beat a 15.
Nice.
Lysandra fails.
Quig also failed.
Louis got a 15.
While Quig and Lysandra are kind of keeping an eye on the professor, Feng points out to Louis over the side of one of these carved rooms, almost like a house or a domicile, similar to the ones carved into the side of Udrud Gorge back in Lullaby. Feng, you point out, sprawled at the edge of a fallen debris of a side tunnel that has caved in, the torso of a skeleton jutting out of the pile, its tattered flowing coat littered among the rubble. Beating the 15, amongst the stone you notice several similar silver arrowheads. What would you like to do?
Does it look like this, just to confirm, does it look like this person was like stuck in a cave-in?
Seems like that was
Yeah.
the case.
Now
You're holding the light for the professor, so
I am.
you can't just wander over there.
As Feng points out this situation with the body and the arrowheads, I think Louis is going to take a second as Feng's distracting the professor to just go over and have a look at what this is in a little bit more detail.
Give me a stealth check and then an investigation check.
Ay. Not my best stats. Okay, it's a 17 on the stealth. And then investigation. Investigation is a natural 20.
Nat 20.
Shit.
Oh god.
17
17 on.
was your stealth and a nat 20 for your investigation.
Yes.
I would say with that nat 20, I won't even make you roll a sleight of hand. You're rolling so hot these last few weeks.
Let's see how long it lasts.
Can I have some of that luck?
I'm touching wood.
Again, you can't feel this like nagging presence, Louis, that's kind of been haunting you now. And as the kind of moral compass of the group, you're almost talking to yourself in this endless gloom, being like, come on now, Louis, we can't lose the plot, we've just got to keep it together for everyone else's sake. But again, this mystery is kind of calling out to you, and you see, as you bend over and begin to examine, not only do you see the arrowheads, you see a tattered leather bandolier with, I need you to roll a d6 for me,
Okay. 3.
with 3 vials of an iridescent red liquid. Each vial is sealed with what appears to be wax, with a small groove indentation on the side and a symbol carved into the plug. You can make I'll say with that nat 20 investigation, you know that this is the universal alchemical symbol for death.
Ooh, poison.
With that nat 20, I'll also say that, maybe poison, but it almost seems like with that, the way in which I'll give you more with that nat 20, the way the tunnels collapse, it almost seems like this elf was trying to get away and had these in their possession. The make of it is not wood elven. It's not similar to the bodies that you found before. So whatever this wood elf was carrying, you would deduce was something stolen.
I'm going to cast message, point back up at the group.
Do you take them?
I'm going to check before I take them. I'm going to check with the group.
I'm saying with the struggles that Louie's gone through in the last couple of days, would she...
No, she wouldn't. She'd just take it. Yeah, she picks it up.
Nothing happens. It's a small leather bandolier that kind of has the slots in it and they fit comfortably in a small leather pouch.
As Louis fastens this amongst her skirts and other belts, she points back up at Feng up with the professor and just casts message to say, I found something, not certain what it is, but not sure if we want to tell her or what's going on, if we want to put it through the group first.
Yeah, Feng will just quickly respond and say, no worries, I won't tell her, and then turn to the professor and go, oh, I think Louis has found something in that dirt over there, so I think we should go check it out.
She's already gone. She's already made her way to the other side.
Don't fall down the hill!
She's like dragging at your robe to get the light closer, and she goes, fascinating. Another sign of struggle. What does this mean?
From what I could tell, it seems like they were trying to run from something. I'm not certain. Some kind of struggle or thing that they were running from wherever it was, if it was other wood elves or what else, I'm not sure.
Maybe from, like, through this tunnel that's collapsed?
Maybe the tunnel was collapsed to stop them from running away.
Well, whoever it was, they were sure in a hurry to get out.
Feng will ask the professor, is it possible for the other side of this tunnel to still be intact if this part collapsed?
You see the professor takes a moment to think about this and says, potentially, although my first instinct is collapsed tunnel means unsound infrastructure, but I do not deny the craftsmanship of these people. Perhaps it was are you suggesting this is some kind of deliberate cave-in?
Well, maybe, like, what we're looking for is on the other side of this cave-in, and, like, you know, I can kind of change into animals, so, like, I could, you know, dig through.
You can go for it if you want, Feng. You do remember that it's going to disturb a lot of the stuff as well that she probably doesn't want disturbed.
Okay, then I won't do it. That's why I was asking her.
Okay, you see she pats you on the shoulder. Well, not shoulder, she can't reach elbow. And thanks you for the sentiment, but continues on. That was a successful first day. Lysandra and Feng at the camp that night, bit hungry.
I think as everyone kind of sits down with their food that night, Louis says to everyone, I think we really need to make it a stance to try to find some food, because I know we're running out tonight and you guys have already run out. If we're in here for 5 more days, we're not going to make it.
Feng will just respond and say, if there was food in here, I'd be able to find it, so I don't think there's any. I don't think we have any options, unless anyone can create food.
You see that Holly and the professor have ample rations to get them not only to where their destination, but the way back.
Are we willing to face the wrath of Holly and the professor to get some of their food, if they're willing to share it?
They kind of made it clear before that we're not really welcome to it, so...
Well, I'm sure Quig would be welcome to it.
What's that supposed to
What do you think it means?
I don't...
You're just looking over and she's like putting pieces of cheese in Quig's mouth.
Stop saying it.
That's not canon!
It's hard.
So, surely you could sweet talk your way into getting all of us a little bit of food.
I've never talked sweet in my life. I will have you know.
Well, you could start now.
It makes no sense that we would have to beg for food from the people we are escorting.
Yeah, I kind of see that.
It would be really strange if we died of starvation while they just watched and ate.
Well, what I'm saying, Pig, is that...
I think we should just tell them. Give us the food. Because what's the alternative?
I'm just saying, clearly, Holly has taken a fancy to you, and you could use that.
I don't want to.
Quig's completely oblivious of that fact.
You can see what you like, but I don't want to do that.
I think just tell him we
So
need
you
the
would rather
food.
we starve?
No, just tell him we need the food.
Feng's about to dob Quiggy in for a date with Holly in exchange for some food. So Feng's going to turn around to Holly and be like, "Hey, Holly, if Quig goes on a date with you, will you give us some rations?"
She says, without skipping a beat, sold and launches.
How about 2 dates?
Quick, don't bite the DM hand that just fed you. Literally just fed you. And she gives you 3 ration packs each.
Oh, sick.
Sweet.
Thanks, all.
You had all this and you weren't going to give us any.
This is my entire return journey, freak. So you better find some more food out there.
Hey, don't talk to him like that.
Oh, how would you like me to talk to him, Quiggy?
God. I cast invisibility on myself. I run away a bit. I go hide.
All right. On your second day in this section of the expedition, I'm going to need another survival check. These are going to be so important now that food is running low.
Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Finally.
Louis.
Survival?
Yep.
Louis got an 18.
Really good. Quick.
Quig got a 4.
Oh no.
Lysandra.
Lysandra got a 12.
Not bad. Feng.
24.
Whoa.
Finally.
That is a pass for your second day. Well done, gang. You may all remove 1 ration. Woo. There will still be an encounter, though. Can I get a D4?
I think I'm up for this one.
Thanks, Holly. That one actually tasted extra delicious.
Nice.
That is a 2 on the D4.
As you travel further and further into the complex, the professor continues to make efforts to understand the language here. Now in a place of context and culture, as an anthropologist, she's able to get more cues from the hieroglyphs and what they may or may not represent. Cross-referencing her assumptions in the Undercroft with the new symbols and hieroglyphs that appear around here, the professor begins to construct a rudimentary alphabet. Those proficient in history may help in this deciphering.
Yes, sir.
So, Louis, you can give the help action for this.
Absolutely.
That is an 18 on the dice. The professor spends a while trying to cross-reference ancient Wood Elven dialect scripts and these old papyrus with these hieroglyphs. That these Wood Elven scripts were recovered from the Badlands in the west of Nuar, but there's no match. Even though there is some crossover in symbolic placement for things like wood, earth, life. Eventually, you hear the professor gasp, and she looks up to you and said, "It's common." Or an ancient iteration of it. One phrase, "this here," and as she points at these series of hieroglyphics, she reads out to you, "Empire of the Appani," and turns to you and says, "This must be the people. I have never heard of the Appani. Have you, anyone heard of that name before?"
Have we?
No one has. No. Don't even need to borrow a history check. This makes no sense. How could there be common mortals here? The Wood Elves were said to reign for centuries. This counteracts everything we know. And you see she starts to shake a little bit and almost starts to tear up and cry in this moment as she is starting to find concrete evidence on some novel discovery, which for a professor is a really big deal. And you see Holly is looking over and rubbing her back and trying to calm her down. But you see that now the professor's not moving with any care in this place. She is moving outside of the torchlight. She puts in these tiny little flags everywhere to kind of signify areas of significance. She puts about 6 over at the body where you were, Louis, with the half exposed torso. And that is where you go for the day. Is there anything you do that night?
I think as everything kind of settles down, Louis gathers the group together and shows them the bandolier that she found over by the body. And as she looks at everyone, Louis says, so I found this over by the cave-in. I'm not sure what these liquids are, but that's an alchemical symbol for death. You're probably more versed in the magic of these things, Quig. I'm not sure if it's anything you might recognize.
Do I recognize anything?
Give me an investigation check or an arcana check.
I'll go Arcana. 15.
This is a alchemical vial. You get that. On inspection, you understand the alchemical symbol. You can't really divine anything in terms of its context, contents, or what the liquid actually does, but the groove that's inlaid in the side of the vial gives you pause. And I will say, it almost seems like it was designed to be attached to something.
The vial itself was designed to be attached to something like mechanical, like screwed onto something or inserted into something.
What was the body surrounded by?
Arrowheads.
Arrowheads. Oh, okay. Okay.
And you kind of get this sense that maybe this is an offensive. That's all you get with that arcana.
Could I detect magic on it just to learn the school of
you
magic,
can.
if any? I shall.
You cast detect magic. Look, I hate detect magic.
Well,
It
too
is.
bad. It's on my sheet.
The vials are very, very magical. In terms of the school, you get necrotic energy from this as well, but it's different to the vial that you encountered back from the Arcanites.
Yeah.
You can tell that by the color, the viscosity.
That was a blue liquid, wasn't it?
Yes. But there's no time magic in this,
Yeah.
which you didn't get before. You still get the traces of necromancy, but no chronomancy.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this is different to the Arcanite ritual liquid that they were using. This is some sort of offensive, necromantic energy. They maybe attached it to the weapons.
What color is European?
It's the silver. Yeah, we had a silver dust.
I'm
The
just
box.
wondering if these little red potions, something gets added to them and they become the blue stuff that was used at the Arcanite ritual.
Well, we do know that the European is a catalyst for magical components, so it does change the properties
Well,
of
that's-
them or increase the potency.
I'm wondering if European was added to this red stuff, would it become the blue stuff? Like, is that dumb?
Do we
I don't
experiment?
think it's the craziest thing. We have European, don't we?
We have.
But you have a little.
Sorry, I would know if I had
Dust.
European, but yes, I think it is worth doing. I don't know if it's the safest.
I don't
to
think we
right
should do
here
it
and now.
No, I don't think we should do
I
it.
would
should probably
say
wait
if
to
we
do
do any experiments, it's probably wise to do it in scientific company.
I also don't want to unseal these bottles without.
No.
No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Quig, you know in this moment there is one person who knows a lot about alchemical
Shut
ingredients.
the fuck up, Emerson. I will come over there and beat your ass. Don't try to bring it up.
Then they put it in an audio description. Emerson flips the table.
You weren't being told.
I'm just saying, just for our listeners who are screaming at us, going, "Holly, ask Holly."
Oh, they don't trust Holly either.
None of us trust Holly.
Well, no, but yeah, but you guys haven't watched Game of Thrones at all. You don't need to trust to work together.
I think as we kind of get to the end of this discussion, Louis does kind of turn to Quig as everything kind of winds down and goes, I know it's a sore spot. She's probably the best person to ask about it.
Oh, but so how would we say we came across these vials without mentioning it prior to this moment?
Well, what if we start off the conversation by asking her about silver weapons? I mean, she was using them after all.
I don't know if starting a conversation, asking someone
Just
for a favor.
asking how she knew to use them against the Moon
I don't
Gate
think we
Guardian.
should reveal that we know that yet. I think we need to keep some information that we can use later on.
Unless I come to her with a theory about the silver arrows and ask her about the dagger.
But also remember the silvered weapons back at the Arcanite. I
Yeah,
wonder if they-
Lysandra, didn't you take one of those daggers?
Yes, I still have it.
Does it look like Holly's?
Does it look like Holly's?
You withdraw the knife. Look, Nua is a high fantasy land, right? There are lots of creatures here with lots of immunities. So the fact that she's using silvered weapons is not in and of itself incriminating, because lots of different hunters use specific alloys and stuff for their swords. Look, you can't say for certain if it's the same, but it's a steel dagger. It's a steel dagger. You see, it's quite rudimentary, and so is hers. It's not a direct match, but it's similar in its build and make. It's a silver throwing dagger.
Yeah, cool. It's a simple silver dagger. It could be connected. But you could start the conversation like that.
For sure. And I...
Use your
Hands away from your death.
use your flirtatious charm.
Flirtatious what?
Yeah, nothing's sexier than a Scottish fairy.
So, ha ha ha.
I have Scottish friends. They're gonna beat me.
Scottish fairy is also...
Why you call me a fairy? You call it a fairy? Yeah.
The fact that I haven't given Quig a kilt is atrocious.
Atrocious. What are we doing, Quig?
If it makes it easier, I'll come up with you and say that I found it, if you want company.
No, it's alright. Yeah, I'll go ask. So I need to ask about the Europeum and the... Quig just takes one vial and leaves Louis with the others.
As you go over to approach Holly, you see she clocks you from as far away as she can and kind of watches you as you walk up to her. She says, "Good evening, or morning, or whatever time it is."
For sure, that to you too.
Quig's
thinking flirtatious charm.
You see her eyes.
What's he giving? Flirtatious charm.
Her eyes narrow for a bit. She says, "Quig, I sense an energy here. What is this?
So silver, right? Silver.
Are you having a stroke?"
I was thinking, why are there silver arrowheads down here?
Right, well, I'm guessing because silver doesn't tarnish at the same rate as other metals.
But it's also not as hard. So,
Look, probably the fact that they're made by elves, that might also have something to do with it.
so there's something going on here between elves and this other ancient civilization, ancient mortals.
Well, we assume so, and given we found two of them, it's not a coincidence. It's not, an isolated thing either. I'm pretty perturbed about it too, and I just hoped that they were fighting each other, and not something else down here.
Something else like what?
You see Holly shrugs and says, "But there's a lot of untapped potential down here, that's all I know. This place is... us discovering this is the biggest thing that's happened in this city since the discovery of Europeum."
Anyway, about Europeum. So I found this little vial lying around.
Oh,
I just wanted to come bring it to you before I showed it to the professor.
right, and the whole no touching things, that was all just...
Forgot about that.
You see, she takes a beat and says, "Well, you've already ruined it, Quiggy." And she takes it from your hand, and you see she begins
It's
to...
necromantic.
You see she looks up and says, "What's romantic, Quiggy?"
Screaming!
Quiggy, you've fallen silent.
Just open it, have a sip, I don't care.
Yes, well, I'm not the professor. A taste test is not my first go-to.
No, I actually don't recommend it. It's very powerful necromancy magic.
Yes, I got that from the sticker on the lid.
Alright then.
You see Holly begins to look at this thing. You see she runs it through her hands, feels the weight of it, looks at how light passes through the liquid, and she says, "Well, I know you're not going to let me keep this to have a look at it over a couple of days, but this is not technically a poison, I don't think. It seems it's almost like a chemical solvent for some kind of magical reaction in the body. But that's about it. You notice these grooves on the side, yes? Mm-hmm. And it just appears it would be attached to some kind of projectile.
Yeah, like the arrows.
So
I wonder if perhaps a reaction with the silver itself?
it could be that, but look, anything attached to the end of an arrow is not necessarily a balm, is it?
No.
Unless it's some crude health potion that gets administered by arrow, which seems kind of counterintuitive, really.
You know, supports have really come a long way since then.
Slander.
The invention of clerics was big for the support main community.
Holly hands the vial back to you and says, "Look, I know you're not going to show this to the professor, but I'm done fighting you. It's too exhausting. You are playing with necromancy here, and you know the rules just as well as I do, so you have to be careful. I am not an expert in necromancy by any extension of the word. However, the mortician in Laldrud is an expert on such things. So I would suggest, if you can keep this secret, I would go and see her when you return to the city."
Alright, what's her name?
Well, yes, the town mortician is next to the septic speakeasy. You go in there and ask for Vanessa. She's the mortician in there. Her mortuary is small, but as you can imagine on the frontier, has quite a bit of business. No one really likes dealing with death out here, so...
Plenty of business for her.
Plenty of business for her. Not to say I bought her any business or anything. Give me an insight check.
A 5.
Moving on. Okay.
Also cool that we know where the NPC is now.
Yeah.
Going to meet them
From the competition.
in the competition.
Nice. Nice, Jeremy. Nice.
What?
I didn't forget. Okay, moving on to the third day here. I am going to need a survival check, please.
Survival.
We got this, gang.
Let's do it.
Oh,
Oh.
Are we surviving today?
nope.
Nope.
Oh.
Perhaps.
Louis.
12.
Queen got a 13.
Lysandra got a 12.
Feng.
Not one.
Feng.
I think it was because I rolled it.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
How dare you?
Oh.
Okay, that is going to be a fail, so that's an extra day of rations taken.
Oh.
We should all be on 1 or 0 now. Things are not looking good. As you progress, you notice a small alcove next to a structure embedded into the side of the tunnel. Amongst the clutter, you see very dusty and decrepit children's toys, carved from porcelain and terracotta, half submerged in sand. Some still have delicate articulated arms, still carrying the markings of long faded paints and dyes. Lysandra, can you make a perception check for me?
Yes, I can do that. I'm terrified. I don't know what dice to use. Oh my gosh, I've got too many. Okay, this one. Don't let me down. That's a 17.
At 17, you conduct a cursory glance over these dolls until your eyes rest on one with a familiar visage. It's a small tiefling doll.
Oh. What?
That's not terrifying at all. I think Lysandra doesn't even say anything and just takes off from the party and walks straight over to it and goes to pick it up.
You pick up the doll, and it's beautifully made. You see the dress is faded on it, but there's still the distinct long braided hair and tiefling horns and a tail carved on the back of the doll that has long since snapped off. There's something familiar about it, which is weird because you never had toys as a child.
Lysandra yells out, not even thinking about the fact she's not meant to pick up anything. Guys?
What's up, sweetheart?
What's going on?
You see the professor gasps, and then Lysandra, there's a beat, and then you see everyone else at the party gasps. As one of the arms of the doll suddenly springs up and is pointing, not to you, but behind you.
Lysandra turns around.
There's nothing there.
She turns back to the party.
You all see this doll's arm is still pointing.
Is it pointing at your shadow?
I think Lysandra would look behind her, see that there's nothing, and then look at the doll and sort of hold the doll out in front of her, seeing if it's still pointing behind her. She's then going to try to summon her shadow.
How do you try and summon your shadow out of combat? What does Lysandra dig into?
I think Lysandra, in closing her eyes, would think back to when she first arrived at the Priory. And the first thing she was taught was to listen and to not wander off and to be responsible and attend her classes and be in control of the actions that she took. And coming from a childhood of not listening and wandering off and being a bit of a wild child, that was tough for her, and she never really understood it. And I don't think she understood the real meaning of being in control of her own space until probably this moment, when she is really trying to harness her past and kind of force it out. And I don't think she knows what she's doing, but she's just trying to imagine what her, I guess, friends would do when they're casting spells or they're trying to summon things, and use that to bring out this thing.
You all see as Lysandra closes her eyes, the shadow behind her almost like seems to pull back and distort, and then almost like an elastic band snap, and her shadow is standing behind her. You see with it, Lysandra's arms outstretched, the shadow moves in front of her, picks up the doll, and goes and sits on the floor cross-legged, holding the doll in their hands.
I think Lysandra at this point opens up her eyes and sees this happening as just speechless.
You okay, kiddo?
I think so. You're seeing that, right?
The shadow playing with the doll on the ground? The one that pointed at it? Did you draw it out, or did that doll?
I think I brought it out.
At those words, you see the doll's head and face snaps to Lysandra, and you see a rudimentary mouth open on its own accord. And Lysandra, you hear the screech of an owl before your shadow is dispelled and the doll falls limp on the ground.
I didn't want to think that I was being watched, but I thought there was no life down here, and that was clearly the sound of an owl.
I'm guessing that none of us heard an owl.
No, neither of you, no one else. That's why I said Lysandra hears the screeching of an owl, yes.
We didn't hear anything.
Right. I think Lysandra looks around to see if there is actually an owl at all.
I think you will yourself to find the owl, but even you know that there's going to be no owl in here.
Yeah. She then goes and picks up the doll.
You see the professor walks up to you and says, "You know what, sweetie, you can keep that one. I won't tell. No, please. I insist. You take
I wasn't
that.
even going to ask.
Oh, okay. Well, you should." And then she walks off. You all move off from this space, very concerned and maybe rattled with the happenings that had just occurred, but the hunger that is starting to build inside you wills you on to find something of substance in here for the professor to take home as evidence. For the second encounter for the day, you walk, because you failed your survival checks, you're adding an extra day. And it takes you the rest of this day to navigate this space, and only until you find like these secret kind of like half obscured doors that only lead to certain side access tunnels and smaller tunnels that must be designed for like animals or children. It really does start to leave you discombobulated. But eventually, as you move through one of these compounds, another one of these alcoves catches your eye. And Louis, you, as a performer, in your performer background, get a tingle, like a tingle in your bones that maybe you haven't felt since those long dinners at the banquets and balls in Hermitage.
Is it through like a set of doors?
Double doors, swinging doors.
Fancy doors. Alright. I think she goes, "I'm gonna go this way." And she goes and she just kind of like touches over the doors just a little bit, get vibes.
You see, you all don't have time to act as Louis has immediately gone to these doors. As soon as her palms rest on the stone doors, they fling open and torches light up in the room, and you see what appears to be an ancient amphitheater carved and sunk into the stone. You look out in front of you to the stands, and they seem bare, but far down onto the stage, you see some signs of clutter there, suggesting perhaps a hurried escape. What do you do?
I think Louis, looking at the architecture and the beauty of this amphitheater that she hasn't seen a performance space in a while, she just kind of wipes a little tear at the beauty of it, and then noticing the mess on the stage is kind of like, oh crap. And yeah, we'll Hurry up to see what it is.
Is anyone following Louis?
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
quick walk.
Lysandra will definitely be following.
Going well as well.
Okay. As you move down to the stage, Louis, you arrive there first. Can I get an investigation check from you?
Sure.
Quig can give you the help action if you'd like.
Yeah.
Thank you.
For it.
17.
17. Amongst the debris of, ancient costumes, costume changes, there's some chalk in there, but amongst the debris left on the stage, you spy what appears to be an ancient glinting powder pot. And as you open it up, you see on the underside of the lid is a polished yet somewhat dull copper mirror, with the pan beneath it full of a deep red purple powder, bespeckled with specks of light as lustrous and bright as flecks of diamond. Just before you go to close the lid, you spy a figure in the copper mirror.
I open the lid back up.
Peering closer, you spy what appears to be a magnificent dandy bard, sporting golden bangles, a peacock fez, and deep lips and eyes of purple-red makeup. Before you can even process what is happening, the figure winks at you, and the paint pot becomes red-hot in your hand. There is a massive as the paint pot explodes in a colourful haze, knocking you all far back into the empty stands. Immediately you realise that you've seen those flecks of diamond before, in the European case that you took from the Burrower's castle. And what stands before you is a replica, as the European that has been imbued in this makeup over the eons has replicated the soul of the entertainer within, as you face the Lich Bard of the Appani Empire.
What?
I'm gonna need everyone to roll initiative.
I love this. Holy shit.
Okay.
Alright, we'll go around the table. Louis.
I rolled a natural one for it.
My goodness. Phenomenal work.
Thank you so much.
Quig rolled a 19.
19 for Quig.
Lysandra is invigorated and rolled a 13.
They're excited.
Roll works well, guys.
Let's go!
What's your dexterity?
The +1.
+1. Holly will go before you.
Damn it.
And Feng, what is your initiative?
21.
Hey! Alright guys, this isn't a regular combat, this is a cool combat.
How we doing, fella kids?
So, for our audience at home and for you guys to understand what's about to happen, the Lich Bard is 200 feet away from you as you are pushed back into the stands. Each round, the Lich Bard will unleash its Cacophony Lair action, whereby each creature that can hear must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. On a fail, the creature takes 2d8 psychic damage and is pushed 10 feet backwards. So what your role is, you have to try and use your movement to try and shut this down. The doors behind you are sealed shut. You are trapped in this room with only the bard. You see he starts singing in this low guttural tone, and then actually begins to start what appears to be almost like an insult song. He starts. It's almost like a cabaret production, but he's also making fun of you and taunting you.
That's hilarious. I love this guy.
So,
Nice.
first to act is the bard and their lair action.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm going to need everyone to make that save. That's a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. Just let me know if you pass or fail.
Let's go.
Louis.
Fail.
Quig.
Pass.
Lysandra.
Pass.
Feng.
Fail.
Those who fail takes 12 points of psychic damage,
Jesus.
and those who succeed take half.
Aww.
That's half of my health.
That is the lair action for the bard. Up next is Feng. You are 200 feet away. Those who failed are also pushed 10 feet back further.
So we're 210 feet?
210 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so Feng is going to, as a bonus action, use his once a day Misty Step to teleport 30 feet closer.
Beautiful.
That is his bonus action. As his action, he is going to start beating on his chest and wild shape into a riding horse. And it has a movement of 60 feet.
Oh.
So I've gone 30. I'm now going to use the riding horse's movement to go another 60 feet, so I'm hopefully 90 feet closer.
Plus the Misty Step.
That's including the Misty Step.
Oh, so
30 feet Misty Step, and then the riding horse has 60 feet movement. I can't dash because it was my action to wild shape, so that's it for this turn.
Yeah, you see Feng, what kind of horse does...
I don't know enough about horses.
But, like, give me the vibe. Are we just say to me classy or... feral?
No, feral.
Okay.
Shaggy, like matted fur, but it's also like
You guys see Feng transforms into what can only be described as a Shetland pony, but wrong.
Yeah.
Like, its legs are like so much longer than a miniature horse should be, but it's stout and sturdy. I don't know what kind of horses are from Hermitage, but whatever horse Feng has seen, that probably needs to be addressed at a later date. Because someone needs to be called about their horse. But you absolutely fly down this amphitheatre, taking the rows two at a time, and you move up 90 feet. So you are now 110 feet away?
correct.
Wonderful turn, Feng. Quig, it is your turn. You're doing some quick maths over there, ladies and gentlemen.
I think all I can do at the moment, Quig is going to have to run and dash, so move 60 feet closer.
Okay, so you're going to use your full movement to get 60 feet. You're at 140. That is the Bard's action. None of you are in range yet, so he is instead going to point a finger at you, Feng, because you are the closest.
Sure.
And you see he lets out this sonorous baritone note, and I'm going to need you to make a charisma saving throw.
Okay, well, I guess use my own stats, not the horse's stats.
Do you?
For your mental stats, yeah.
Wonderful.
I mean, it's a +1.
Oh yeah.
That's a 4.
Ooh.
Oh no.
You see, it's almost as in these like sonic waves kind of like pull and tear at your wild shape a little bit. You will have disadvantage on all ability checks, saving throws, and attack rolls until the start of the Lich Bard's next turn. That is Holly's turn. You see, Holly will take the dash action and travel 60 feet. That is Lysandra.
Lysandra is going to take the dash action to go 60 feet and is then going to, knowing now she can summon her shadow, is going to use that and summon it 15 feet ahead of her and then command it to move 30 feet forwards.
Wonderful. So you have moved your movement, and the shadow has moved 45 feet ahead of you.
Yeah.
So it is technically
95.
75.
75.
Can't do maths.
Guys, he does creative writing. Wait, you doing creative linguistics?
I'm dyscalculia. I shouldn't even try doing maths.
Dyscalculia? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's like dyslexia for maths.
Same.
Yeah.
Where's my diagnosis? Lysandra, great turn. Yeah, you see Lysandra summons her shadow. The bard is completely like nonchalant, still performing. That is the professor's turn. The professor is going to take the dodge action and like sits down and covers her ears to try and hold herself away.
Good idea.
He turns to Louis and just says, "Good luck."
Thanks, ma'am.
This would
Louis,
be
it's your
help for
turn.
her.
Yeah, she'll give you the help action.
Oh, thanks.
She's like a dog, so this would be like
Really sensitive.
really sensitive.
I am going to take the dash action because it's all I can really do. Yep, I'm just going to take the dash action and run as far as my little buddy can take me.
That's 60 feet.
60 feet.
Wonderful. Back up to the top of the order. That is the Bard's Lair action again.
I'm about to go down.
Everyone needs to make a
No.
Constitution saving throw.
Well, at least you have.
Oh, I've got the
have
horse.
the
Yeah,
horse
I just
now.
realized.
Can I use that help action that she gave me on that?
Yes, you can.
Thank you.
And I've got disadvantage on this.
Oh no.
Oh, Jesus.
Louis, pass or fail?
Pass.
Quick.
Pass.
Lysandra.
Pass.
Feng.
Fail.
Alright, I rolled less on the die. So that's 6 points of psychic damage, 3 on a fail, and you're pushed 10 back.
I mean, 3 on a pass.
Grandpa.
The horse is still up.
Like I said, strong but wrong.
The echo does not take any damage and is not moved back. It has immunity to all conditions.
Wonderful.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So you
Wait,
you
get
get
conditions or damage? Conditions is like sleep.
Oh yeah, true.
Blind.
yeah, it still have to make the save.
Natural 20.
Oh, I'm gonna say, even though it has 1 hit point, on a crit, I have to reward the crit, so it takes no damage on this one. Only the crit, though. Okay, Feng, our sturdy wrong horse.
So now I'm 120 feet away.
Yes.
I'm going to use my action to move and dash 120 feet.
Feng, you get up as a horse. Whose horse is that?
And Feng just starts like hitting the Lich Bard with his.
You see Feng dash, like jumps up onto the stage and starts doing that feral hawk. What? Wait, this is really good. Feng jumps up on the stage and just starts like bucking and kicking at the Lich Bard, completely incorporeal. Moves are just going straight through the bard.
Just dancing with him.
Yeah.
I will enable you a perception check if you reach up to the bard here.
Excusing them. Would that use my perception? Or the horse's perception? Okay.
Yes, because perception uses wisdom, and wisdom is a mental stat.
Sick.
Good, I was about to
Unless the...
Never mind, I rolled in that one.
I would say on that for the future, some wild shapes have special abilities that help, like keen
Smell.
senses will give you like advantage on it. I think it makes sense in that case that you get the advantage because you have their nose, but your perception.
I don't know.
Riding horses do not have keen perception. But Feng
One's a one.
Feng is bucking
yeah.
wildly. He's just looking.
Feng, get him.
Go, get it in.
You see this horse just like absolutely mess up this projection.
Feng also loves talking, and he can't talk as an animal, so that horse is probably making some ungodly noises, trying to get at some comment, but it just can't get at it.
Quick.
Okay, so can I quickly get Lysandra? How far away are you from the front?
From the front, Lysandra was pushed back 10 feet. I'm not good at math
Oh,
either.
you moved 60 though. So
I moved
you-
60.
Yeah.
No, you couldn't because you summoned your incarnation. Isn't that an action?
No, it's bonus action.
Bonus action. Oh yeah, so 60, and then it was 15 feet in front of you, so it's 75 feet ahead.
150 from the bard.
Quig is going to move 30 feet towards the bard, and he's going to cast Vortex Warp on Lysandra.
Oh! What is the range of vortex?
It is
warp?
90 feet.
Yes.
And so I can teleport a creature if they're willing. They don't have to make a save. If the creature's within 90 feet of me, I can teleport them anywhere else within 90 feet of me. So I will get to 110 feet away from the bard, and then I will teleport Lysandra 90 feet in front of that to... Someone help me with the math.
20 feet away from
20 feet away from it.
If that's the case as well, the echo would vanish because it's out of 30 feet range.
Okay.
Which is fine.
see.
Do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you see Quig holds up his wand and almost equals MC squared, like creates a mini black hole of light and sucks Lysandra 90 feet forward. And you see as you do that, the shadow disappears. You are 20 feet away from the bard. I will also enable a perception check from you
Yes. Amazing. 14.
now. 14. You don't see anything of note except the horse Feng going buck wild.
Yeah, help me.
So that is
Join in.
Quig's turn, yes?
Yes.
So that's the bard's action. You see the bard getting very, very scared by being assaulted by a horse. And Lysandra appearing in front of him, he is going to outstretch his hand and cast a spell.
Uh-oh.
Feng and Lysandra.
Oh.
You're welcome. I got you within range of this spell.
I think it was just
Jeremy.
I'm helping.
I thought it was just a race, like who got to the end. Like,
Yeah,
just show.
Yes.
How many hit points does your horse have, Feng?
We haven't done any. How have they just hit?
How many hit points does it have?
It has 7 left.
Okay. How many hit points do you have?
13.
You see, he outstretches his hand and like almost like blows some more of this like dusty ochre out, Feng, and it gets in your horse's eye, and you just both of you fall asleep.
Yeah.
That is.
That's how that happens.
That is Holly's turn. You see Holly is 140 feet away. She's going to... then she's just going to take the dash action and move another 60 feet. And she is now 80.
How far did she move to begin with?
60.
Then I'm in line with her.
Oh, okay. That's still... Yep, she'll still do that. And she will go down, and she is now 80 feet away. Lysandra, you are asleep. There's really not much you can do. You're unconscious. So.
We don't even get to save at the end of our turn.
Nope.
Someone needs to wake you up.
Oh,
It's like the
dude, come on. That's so rough. That literally just stops it until... What happens if everyone's asleep?
Okay, so let me just read it. Each creature affected by the spell falls unconscious until the spell ends. The sleeper takes damage, or someone uses an action to shake or slap the sleeper awake. No one's going to slap a horse in here, so...
They know it's me.
Alrighty.
It's okay. You'll take damage as soon as
Yeah, I
the
know.
cacophony goes through.
Good point.
Yeah, it just ensures you fail. That's all. That's the trap.
Oh.
Okay, that is... Louis, it's your turn.
I can't do much except dash.
What's your range on Bardics?
Within 60 feet of me.
Okay, not yet. Louis, make a charisma check for me.
Okay. Be dice to me. That is a 15.
This bud's chewing you out. It's almost like Trinity the Tuck on Drag Race, which is like, girl, I don't know what she's saying, but I live. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this bud's getting annoying, and it's chewing you out.
Bitch.
And you might have something to say about that.
I think then as Louis running, she's just gonna be like, alright, you dusty son of a gun, you wanna play a game? Let's play a game. Bard to bard, right now, show me up, try it.
Give me an intimidation check. Now, this is going to be
a rip-off.
This is going to be an opposed charisma check with the bard.
Now, I don't know if I can say this before you roll, but Granny Surf Cunt.
Can I have the big
starting to believe.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes.
So the bard has a +6 to this.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
+6 to charisma at this level.
Oh, two
It's
and
a
two.
lich.
Oh, wait, no,
That's a 17.
Dirty 20.
I need you to roll 5d6 psychic damage for me.
Yes! Can I borrow some D6s?
Oh.
1, 2, 3. D6 from everyone. 21.
You see, even though the bard can't understand the words you're saying, he understands the venom and the intention through which you say them. And you see his form begins to diminish on the stage. His almost confidence seems to be sapped from him.
Louis finishes running. It's like, everybody insult him. He's a bitch. He's a little bitch.
Back up to the lair action. That is going to be the cacophony lair action. Lysandra and Feng are unconscious, so they
The
will...
horse is unconscious.
Sorry.
Feng's still conscious inside.
The hunt is just...
Let me out.
This is the most perverted Pokemon. Okay, I'm going to need everyone to make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw who is conscious, and let me know if you pass or fail.
Oh, jeez, that's cocked.
I fail. Quig fails.
Quig fails.
Louis passes.
Louis passes.
Uh-oh.
So that is 9 points of psychic damage.
That is exactly my current HP.
Oh, and you see Quig goes down, gets blasted back into another row of seats and just falls
So
unconscious.
far away as well.
Louis, you take half of that,
Okay.
but apparently you're the beefiest one, so...
Weird. So I have 9 halved 4, 3.
9 half to 4.
Oh, sorry, no, it's
the,
only 5.
the damage
So
gets
it's-
rounded down.
Okay, so it's 4.
Yeah.
And you guys take full damage who are unconscious.
Feng reverts into a horse. The horse. The horse reverts into Feng.
Which came first?
Peter, the horse is here.
But you are also damaged, so you do raise from consciousness, which is
Thank
actually
fuck.
good because you will now act before the bard's turn.
Good.
That is Feng. You come to right next to the bard, no longer a horse. You fell unconscious as a horse and have awoken not a horse.
Feng just burning hands, 15-foot cone at the lich.
Would you like to make a perception check again at the start of your turn?
Sure. 13.
13. Even with a 13, you notice that the initial arcane explosion obviously had moved a lot of the clutter from the stage. The one thing that remains is the colour pot of makeup.
Try to close it.
It is opened, yes.
Try to close it.
You close it, nothing happens.
I'm out of ideas.
I love
Feng's got nothing.
I love that the horse just kicked the shit out of a coat, and then like a very breakable makeup button is.
Feng will just try to shatter the pot then.
Make a unarmed strike as you go to stomp on the.
If I'm attacking the pot, then I'd prefer to probably use a weapon.
Yeah.
I'll just try and hit it with the staff. Nat 20.
Nat 20! Hey! Feng, how does, in your best Mithrandir on Khazad Doom, how do you...
Sorry, what?
What is this reference?
I know.
How do... What? That's going to be my plug. Everyone has to go.
Cut that out!
Everyone...
Cut that out!
He's a fake fan! And your best Gandalf with the Balrog, how do you finish this Lich Bard?
Feng's fucking pissed he was bucking around as a horse. He was just like... I feel like this is Feng's first fit of rage where he's just not smart enough to work shit out. And so he's just trying to smash everything around him. So he's just got the blunt of the staff, probably causing damage to it, not even thinking about it. Like actually just smashing the floor around the bard, and just so happens to get the...
You see with the crunch of ceramic under wood, the bard almost inhales quickly, almost in surprise, and is gone. Torches go out, and you are all once again subsumed with darkness.
Yeah, see, that was easy.
Weren't you a horse? No.
Louis is going to move up and wake Lysandra up.
Lysandra's away.
She's away. Oh no, she got hit. That's right. Sorry.
I'll do a healing word on... Feng will do a healing word on Quig.
The first person to act after the healing word is cast is the professor, who jumps up at the back and starts applauding.
Louis bows.
How much did I get healed for?
8.
Phenomenal.
Okay. The rest of the day, as you begin to move away from this space, nothing else troubles you for the rest of the afternoon. What are you doing for your... unless anyone has anything they want to do for that night, we'll move on to the next day, because things are getting dire with the food situation.
I think this evening Louis just wants to come up to Lysandra and check in on her after the whole shadow doll hearing thing situation. Just come up and sit next to Lysandra wherever she is at the camp, and just sits down next to her and says, I've been hearing things today too. This place is strange, so I don't know if that's comforting to hear or not.
But not the same thing.
No, it's been weird whisperings in the wind and voices calling my name.
I would argue that that is more terrifying than an owl screeching.
Fair, but just letting you know that the place isn't just strange for you.
Are you doing okay?
Well, the old girl's still got some pep in her step. I mean, whatever magic back at the well fixed my hips a little, so I'm not complaining about that.
That's good. You could probably beat me in a race now.
Oh, absolutely not. I'm more worried about that haunted doll that looked like you.
Lysandra pulls the doll out again and looks at it. I don't know. It does sort of look like me, and I don't know if that's more comforting than anything.
Maybe it's a sign from fate we're meant to be here, at least. Something like that.
And with that, we'll move on to the next day. You have 3 days to catch up on now. So I'm going to need a survival check from the table, please.
First day of no food again for both Lysandra and Feng, I think. I believe.
Yay, we're on our starving arc.
I think we've got the last day. Yeah.
So Quig and Louis, this is your last day of food again?
Yep.
Okay.
Louis.
Louis got a 4.
Quick.
Quick got a nat 20.
Hey.
Well done, Lysandra.
A 6.
Feng.
25.
Oh, that is a pass.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goodness.
I rolled a 19.
Nice. Very nice.
You are back on track for this day. You see as you move further and further in now, it's kind of like largely populated areas where obviously a lot of people were living start to become few and far between, and the halls start to appear more centralized and larger and almost built for administrative purposes. On that night, though, you suddenly hear the professor scream out as she uncovers her pack and looks through it, and you see that all of her rations have been spoiled. These tiny beetles, about the size of your finger, have just ravaged through any sign of meat or a living tissue and has completely desiccated it and aerated it until there's almost nothing left of the food.
Can Feng try and come over and say, Professor, I might be able to salvage something, and cast Purify Food and Drink?
You see all of these beetles with this spell almost like a vacuum cleaner seem to like suck out of the rations and then get mashed together into this unholy protein brick of beetles. And as you see it, like some of them are still moving, you can see their like little legs.
I don't think that's what the spell does.
So pure. So blessed even.
And you see that you are able to transfer the nutritional value of those rations into this brick of beetles that the professor immediately turns her nose up at. Quick, these beetles have very familiar wings.
Ooh, intriguing.
Would you say the way that the food was like dug through and aerated was similar to how the bones were left?
I would.
Yeah. So that would mean that those bones were not that old? Or because the wing wouldn't last that long.
That does mean that the bones would not be old, and it would time it to the ritual.
Can I ritual?
What color are the beetles?
Black.
Can I take some of those beetles?
Feng takes a bite of the beetle brick.
It tastes like nutritional value.
Yum.
My favorite flavor.
You might think I'm asking for a bite.
Yeah. Feng takes a bite and then goes, oh yeah, you want some?
Yeah, and I take out like a little knife and just scrape some.
Oh no, I don't have gems. You can just like bite off the brick.
No, I just wanted to look at these other reasons.
Oh, you're not going to eat them? That's kind of a waste. I cast a spell for this.
Holly is watching this with rapt attention.
So I was gonna look into something with magic and something.
No, I'm just fucking with you. You can do whatever you want.
Great. Though I might get hungry, I might end up regretting this.
Yeah.
But anyway, I go and look at some beetles specimens.
Yeah, you go and cross-reference with the professor, and you find out these are a species known as a larder beetle. They are flesh-eating beetles, and it's used by some druids to prepare bodies who return to the earth. While most of the larder beetles only really eat consuming flesh, it would make sense to you that should these beetles be left there for a long enough period of time, they'd be forced to go after more inedible stuff, such as bones.
I go talk. I'll talk to the party. Quig will go talk to the party. So, I mean, these beetles are detrivores. They eat decomposing material, flesh, and perhaps even bone. But people used to use them for rituals. So, death-related rituals, clean out bodies. So,
Sticking with the theme that we keep encountering.
for sure.
As you all huddle around in the small alcove, breaking off pieces from the unholy bug meat amalgamation, you sleep not very well that night with a belly full of bugs, but your hunger is satiated for a day at least. You have 2 days left. Quig, with that nat 20, you are able to start to figure out this place with your analytical mind. You will now make your survival checks for ruins with advantage.
Hey.
Just you.
Oh.
If you are in a ruins environment, you will get advantage on your survival. All right, everyone.
So another day?
Another day. You've got 2 days left to make up on.
Another day, another dollar.
Let's go.
Louis.
Louis got a natural 20
Hey.
Oh my goodness.
for a total of 22.
You also get this benefit.
Yeah, nice.
Slay.
Join the club.
Woo!
Quig with advantage just got a 14.
14.
1.
Natural.
Yeah.
Feng got a 22.
22. That's really sucky. I have to reward the crit and I have to reward the fail.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Develop a
Well,
phobia.
Our average is still
14, 22, so
17?
17.
17, 18?
17 is a pass. So you make the day
Yeah, see, we got this.
after what has felt like weeks traveling this dimly lit warren of never-ending contradictions. You arrive at a nexus between 3 hallways, all of which are indistinguishable except for the distinct draft of fresher air, which, Louis, you clock with that nat 20, emanating from the hallway to the right. As you continue to follow, many intersecting corridors bypass you, small gathering areas and antechambers break away, suggesting you are entering some sort of central administrative complex. And that is how you make for the last night. Is there anything you are doing? You are getting very close right now. You no longer do you see like personal trinkets and artifacts. You start to see desiccated bookshelves where the books have long since turned to dust.
Feng's going to take a moment, probably away from the party actually, and reflect on the anger he felt towards the Lich Bard. and go, just talking to himself, probably people are overhearing, I don't care. And he's just like, I've never really shown that kind of anger before, and I think it's just being like separated from nature, so I probably just need to take a moment to like reconnect with nature. And he's going to take out the mushroom that the Myconid gave him. Episode 5.
Let's go.
A long time ago. And I remember that originally the Myconid had asked me to change the water direction so that the mushrooms could go again, and also put this mushroom in a place where it would be able to thrive again. And I didn't do that in the Bandit's Keep because it just didn't really feel like the right place. And we'd fixed, the terrain for the Myconid anyway so it could expand. So what if I try to bring the mushrooms and the Myconids into a new place? And I would like to try and, take out the mushroom that the Myconid gave me, and I've had it for a while, so I'm sure it's like maybe dehydrated. So Feng, casts create water, casts produce flame, and would like to create like the perfect area for this mushroom where it's creating like a certain humidity. Like I guess he like builds almost like a dirt kind of bowl. Yeah.
Little hydroponic sphere.
The hydroponic sphere that he puts this mushroom inside of rehydrates it so that the mushroom spores can start to grow again, and also creates like this humidifying mist that just pumps through the mushroom, hoping to like, I don't know, start a new colony or something.
You see, all of you nearly starving. Feng pulls out a mushroom and quick eyes sparks up at the notion of food, but no. The druid takes a long time to pedantically and very mystically prepare this ritual, hydrating the mushroom in this perfect sphere of flame and steam. And then after he's finished, he just takes his Furbolg hand and just mushes it into the side of the wall, almost like a cave painting, and just smears it off the side of the hallway.
Quig just turns to Lysandra and says, "What has this got to do with anger? He said he was angry? Just started making a mushroom. I don't...
Art is art.
Some people just don't get it. This guy
process.
over here simply doesn't get it.
Is that... Oh my god, it's a Banksy.
Or he puts it into small dot painting and Jackson Pollock's the walls, mushroom spores.
This is just like the Fae Court all over. Don't understand this shit.
Alright, for the last day, our last survival check, gang.
Everyone's gonna crit.
Crits all around.
Go!
What do we get? Louis?
I got a 9.
Quig?
Quig got an 18.
Nice. Lysandra?
An 11.
11. Feng?
17.
That is going to be a fail for the last check. You take another 2 days to find this place. You are on the edge of starting to feel the hunger now. You've all been on the road before for extended periods of time and hardship. You've gone hungry, but you've never experienced hunger. Maybe except for Louis when she was younger. And so this feeling you're trying to combat at the last moment is really draining your resources, but you still will yourself forward. Still following this draft of fresher air that has permeated this complex. All of a sudden, you see a rippling in the sand on the tunnel floor and hear the flecks of sand tumbling over each other from what remarkably feels like a breeze. Turning the corner, a sight besets your eyes that none could have expected or fathomed. A generous room spreads out before you. Desks and shelves of dusty parchment are strewn all around, and a thick yet threadbare carpet, blanketed by sand, covers the floor. As Feng holds his lantern higher, the light casts further into the room, revealing an open balcony, the source of the fresher air in this abandoned place. In this moment, I will enable you all to make an investigation check, and you may choose where you are looking. You can choose to look at the room, the desks and shelves, or the balcony. You see immediately as you make these checks, the professor and Holly are already started to scrounge and scout the place.
Quig's definitely going straight for the desks and chairs, the parchments.
Okay.
I think Louis is going to go for the balcony, see what's outside.
Lysandra will follow Louis to the balcony.
And Feng will just look at the room.
Alright, give us all investigation checks, please. We'll start with the room. Feng, what did you roll?
7.
With a 7, the ceiling is high and vaulted as the corridors before, but they're bedecked in what appears to be charts and calculations following stars that are unfamiliar to you. Throughout the room, you see familiar signs of a struggle. Stacks of papers and books have been toppled, and dried stains and marks upon the floor give rise to further questions. Furthermore, you uncover what appears to be some kind of map made from some form of animal hide, but you cannot decipher anything else from it with a 7.
Is there any languages written on it?
More hieroglyphs,
Okay.
as if before. You could probably go and ask the professor.
I'll wait for now.
The desks and shelves. Quick, what did you roll?
Quig got a 24.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Nice.
You move over to where the professor is. You see tomes and tomes of leather-bound papyrus. Yet, unfortunately, these pages are not designed to outlive centuries, and so their contents are largely faded beyond comprehension, or the pages merely disintegrate with a touch. Which, fun fact, is true. Papyrus in real life does not last very long, so that's why we know nothing about cultures who wrote on papyrus. Curious devices and telescopes litter the shelves, all seemingly crafted from copper alloys and moonstone for focusing crystals. The professor is busying herself with Holly on the desk closest to the balcony, peering at a similar device of copper and moonstone. The breadth and width of a large river stone, this queer device has a dial on it which the professor points out replicates exactly the calendar of Appani that she had taken a couple of weeks before. The current input of these dials is seemingly set to a very specific day and time, which she is discussing with Holly. Next to this device, you see, with that 25, a rack of test tubes, all of which sport differing shades and levels of luster. From left to right, each vial becomes purer and purer, until the closest one resembles a vibrant, glowing, and strangely familiar blue liquid. The balcony. What did we roll?
Louis got a 14.
Lysandra got a 16.
Nice rolls. While the light is still dim as you emerge onto the balcony, it is nothing like the gloom from the hallways from whence you came. Before rests a sprawling vista of a huge abandoned metropolis, highlighted by multiple shafts of piercing white light, man-made apparatuses presumably to bring the light from above into this former subterranean paradise. You wonder if your eyes do truly deceive you, as the architecture here stuns the imagination. While hints and glimpses of Lal Udrud can be seen, nowhere in the frontier city were there magnificent stone manses, several stories tall. Huge buildings and barracks, all fed by a spider web of crisscrossing aquifers and canals. The size and scale of this place is insurmountable and haunting, as this great former bastion of life lies still, devoid, entombed. From behind those on the balcony, you hear a fervent, "Oh my," and turn to see the frightened face of the professor holding the device in her hand. The dial begins to glow a brilliant blue, and before you can do anything, you experience a piercing flash that temporarily blinds you all. As your eyes begin to refocus, you see a tear, or a rift, has manifested itself from the device into the room. What appears as a jagged blue scar slowly begins to unfurl into what appears to be a portal, floating a few feet off the ground in space.
What?
The professor drops the device to the ground, now without its eerie blue glow, and stifles a further shout as the portal begins to clarify, resembling a porthole to another space in time. Indeed, through the opening you all see a bright reflection of the room around you. Not a speck of dust or sand can be seen in the brightly decorated manse, and already the smells and sounds of life and vibrancy, a salve for your senses, wafts through the air. Through the porthole you see the streaming sunlight dappling the floor and walls, with rich velvet satins draped across the corners and eaves. Rows and rows of immaculately kept scrolls and tomes line the walls, comfortably placed inside their intricate mahogany shelves. Incense burns on the similarly cluttered desks, but is the figure centrally in the room, resting in a high-backed chair and observing the metropolis from his balcony that grasps your attention. The figure stands and slowly turns to face the portal. You see a truly massive specimen of a man, slender, yet wiry, with eyes that burned green with intense passion. His dark features clad in cool green and blue robes of fine satin and silks, billowing over what appears to be a breastplate made of brilliant opalescent fish scales. A heavy-set copper monocle rests heavily in his brow, nestled between rolls of sandy grey curls tied loosely back to frame his handsome yet aged face. Quig, can you give a perception check for me? You are the closest to this.
It's so many questions.
Sure thing. So my perception check was a 19.
In his left hand, he carries the device just held by the professor. But in his right hand, you see him grasp a long, slender wand, carved from ebony and inlaid with runes and hieroglyphs of silver. Upon its tip, the wand supports an oblong opalescent crystal, one on one end completely smooth and the other has 4 equidistant grooves carved around the base, slotting neatly into its ebony handle. And that is where we will end our session.
Oof.
Oh my god.
What was that?
So I don't know if anyone here has watched The Dragon Prince.
Yeah.
Okay, but there's that one scene with the guy in the mirror. That is all I'm seeing in my head, and I am terrified. Please don't go through the rift, Jeremy. Please.
We're all going through the rift.
We've all got no choice.
Rift. Sweet. So, as you know, I love a good bird. I have many birds in my campaign. I shove them in. I love birds. They're great. And so this is for our Australian listeners exclusively out here. But I implore you to go and download the Bird Life app from the App Store.
I love this so much.
So good.
I'm reading it right now.
Yeah, so it is just an app on your phone, and they do surveys of the wild birds in Australia, especially in metro and city areas. The introduction of cats and domestic pets have really declined the natural wildlife in our parks. So for all of our Australian listeners, make sure you download the app. It can help you find a species of birds. They also do an Aussie bird count every year, which is where you go out for 10-15 minutes and just report on what the birds you see in your backyard and local area. It's a bit dorky, I know, but I'm all about conservation and will do anything to help those who monitor our native flora and fauna. So that's my selfless plug for this week.
It's incredible.
Cute.
Download the app, contribute to your community, and fight climate extinction.
You know, if you're an international listener, I'm sure you've got your own version.
Nah, you probably suck.
Related call to action.
We're actually
Inside.
hyper Australian nationalists here, so no.
No. Second shout out to our dedicated listener in Belgium.
Oh, yes.
Belgium. Anyone else who wants to start the think of Belgium? This shout outs for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have one super fan.
He gets a visa. If you listen to us,
We don't know.
I'll promise what I like.
Mr. Lawyer.
If it's a man, they get a visa.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's the Emerson guarantee.
Actually, honestly, let's be honest. I want a Belgian visa. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Give us a
you.
visa, we'll start making podcasts at your house.
Yeah. We're on our way. We'll see
Free
you next
artwork
week.
campaigns.
Before we get raided by the AFP, make sure you go and like and subscribe to our Instagram page at Down Under Dungeon Pod, and make sure you stay tuned for our weekly episodes released on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We will see you then.
Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on Spotify and Apple as well. And we also, I guess, should make it accessible to people that don't have Instagram. We've got a Q&A happening over there at the moment, so feel free to chuck some questions for some players in there. But if you don't have Instagram, feel free to email us at downunderdungeonpod@gmail.com.
All right. We'll see you all next week.
See you there.
See you there. Okay, bye.
Bye.